3 feet past it. In the uphill, we have to keep in mind as we come up over the hill, the car's going to lose traction, and we need to straighten the steering wheel, or else we'll spin the tires and go off the road to the inside. West bend is pretty simple, 90-degree right-hander. We can use for an apex mark a red paint dot that someone put down there. You have to go out every time you go to Lime Rock to make sure it's still there. When we leave the corner, we want to let the car track all the way to the outside and use half of the yellow stripe, which is 1.5 feet wide. In the downhill, you can use the compression of the springs when the car hits the straightaway to indicate where your turning point should be. When you get around the apex of the downhill corner, the road cambers a lot, so you're able to actually pinch the car a little bit and make it change direction some more at the apex. And you have to remember in the downhill to let it track all the way to the outside of the road. Okay, let's get down to business. We have an idea of where our reference points around the racetrack are. We want to get out on the track and start to go a little bit faster. First basics we're attending to here are to make sure the mirrors are set appropriately so that you can see other traffic out on the racetrack. And we want to get the car up to operating temperature. We're interested in making sure that the oil pressure is up to its normal value, making sure that the water temperature is up at least to 160 degrees so we don't damage the motor. And one of our first jobs as we go around here is to make sure that the brakes are reasonably warm. I'm dragging my left foot on the brake pedal while my right foot is on the throttle. You have to have small feet to do that. But I'm building some temperature in the brakes so that when we get down to our first brake application, we've got some stopping power there. In many cars, depending upon the type of tire they have, you have to spend a lot of time warming the tires up too. Some tires are very sensitive to the temperature that they have in them and won't perform at all if they're cold. We're lucky to have the Comp TAs on these cars because they respond really well all the way across the temperature ranges. One of the neat things about the tire is that it's very predictable. You can, if you make a big mistake, get the car pretty far sideways and it just won't spit you off the racetrack and give up. On this first exploratory lap, we're trying to get a feel for the car, trying to get a feel for the racetrack again. It's very possible that since the last time we've been out, somebody's gone out there and blown 20 quarts of oil all over the line. You wouldn't want to get out of the pit lane and really let it fly the first time out. Okay, we come down into the Big Bend the first time. Been very conservative on the brakings. Gone down to about the 3 or so. And since we haven't carried a lot of speed down the downhill, it's been really no problem getting that done. Brakes are pretty hot right now. I've been able to drag them around the first lap, so they should work pretty well by the time we get to Big Bend next time around. Okay, the engine's good and warm, so we're starting to accelerate harder going up to the uphill. We're able to pick out our reference point for the turn-in pretty well. Decent apex and straightening the wheel up over the top. We only got 5,300 that time, but we're not really into it quite yet at the exit. Line through West Bend is just fine. We're looking for 53. Got 5,300 at the exit that time. There's more to go. So far we're braking reasonably in the downhill. Want to wait till we get really warmed up to go any further on that. Okay, we should be able to work our braking point down toward 2.5. Pressures and temperatures are fine. Braking at the 2.5. Whoop, overdid it a little bit. I locked the left front there. I think I got a little bit greedy. Maybe a little bit more conservative. I might have to warm it up a little bit more than I thought. Taking a look at the exit of the left-hander, 4,900. Remember to keep it high in the left-hander. Look for the curb. Got it, pretty decent pass. And with my foot on the floor, I'm able to take the right-hander, let it track to the outside, 49. Once we really get it going, it should be around 51 or so. On the way to the uphill, I'm going to brake lighter this time, turn it in and on the power earlier. Foot to the floor, straighten the wheel at the crest, 54 this time. Okay, reasonable braking coming into West Bend and squeeze the power on. A little wide of the apex that time, look at the exit, 54. Shift to fourth, a little lighter braking in the downhill this time. Clouded the curb reasonably well there, looking at the exit, just about 5. As we work our speed up, the downhill will get closer and closer to flat. Pressures and temperatures okay. Maybe be more conservative in the braking, do 2 3/4 this time. Still lock the left front just a little bit. Okay, throttle on hard through the apex, let it track to the outside, 5,000, getting better. Keep it high in the left-hander. When you get to the apex, it's going to slide some more when it hits the bumps. Decent correction. Foot flat on the floor. Take the right. Just about 5. Okay, I'm going to try to just brush the brakes on the way to the uphill this time and try to more aggressively get on the throttle. Power was on earlier, not bad. 54.50. Okay, less braking in the West Bend this time, and more power. 54 again, not bad. Okay, much lighter braking in the downhill. Turn it in. Flat on the floor. Gotta let it track in the off camber. It worked. 5,000. Okay, Peter's been behind us on the way. Just pointed him by. He's safely by and directly ahead of us. Let's see how his line looks. Whoa, wide of the apex and tossing the car in, really sideways. I have a feeling maybe Peter's trying to give us a bad example there. Look at that, 6 feet wide of the apex. We're able to really eat him up at the exit because he's having to turn a tighter line. Early into the left-hander, he's going to be really out of shape, wide of the apex of the left and turning tremendously late in the right. If this were a racing situation, I'd go by underneath him with ease. Peter's putting on a heck of a display here of what you shouldn't do in a race car, cooperating nicely. Turned very late in the uphill that time. Whoa, careful there, fella. Now we have to be careful not to follow Peter and just mimic everything he does. Whoa, that time turned very early. Whoa! I'm not sure he wanted to be quite that graphic on an early apex. Pretty successful staying away from his accident in that case. Okay, we come onto the straightaway, looking a lot better, but I think I'll just stay behind him and see what he's going to do next. Let's just let him go and start thinking about lowering the lap time around here. Okay, we've done 6 or 7 laps and gotten comfortable with the racing line around here. Know it reasonably well. Confident in our ability to turn in at the approximately right point and put the car close to the apex. So let's start knocking down the lap time now. We're in the low 1 minute 3 second bracket, and let's try to whittle that down under 2. This is very much like a qualifying session. Showing us a 3.3, that's a 1:03.3. And one way we're going to try to lower this time is not by skipping over the throttle application and exit speed part and going directly to the braking, but concentrate on losing a little less speed at the entry to the corners and getting the power on sooner. I'm flat here. Turning into the right, using the camber to turn the car, and letting it track. We're at 51 at the exit there. Good pass. I'm going to go to the uphill. I want to brake lighter this time and concentrate on getting the power on early. Here. Flat on the floor. Let it track. 55. Good pass. Got to concentrate on less braking and more power here in West Bend. Very smooth, but I can do it better next time. Just brush the brakes in the downhill and on the power soon. 49. Got to work on the downhill here. That'll help. Downhill and the uphill in West Bend are the keys. 2.2. That's faster than I thought it might be. Okay, a little light braking in the middle, second gear, and try to get the power on full. Good, it's home free. 5, almost 51. Left-hander, be conservative, compromise. Okay, power's on flat, a little bit of a correction there, slid more than I wanted it to. Clouded the curb harder than I wanted it to. Still got 51 at the exit, so that's not bad. Okay, uphill, light braking and early throttle application. Get it home early. Flat. Hit the hill. 56, all right. Want to get on the power really early in West Bend. Just tap the brakes and on it. Good, hit the curb more than I wanted to. 55, good. Quick shift to fourth. No brakes, flat. Let it track. Good. Good, that feels great. What are they going to show me? 1.9, all right. Okay, well, that was a little too deep, I don't know. Quick shift to second, get on the power.